What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? I know y'all like, damn, girl, where you been, girl? It's just been a lot. You know what I'm saying? I said, let me go ahead and hop over here. I've been neglecting y'all, but I really wanted to get on here and talk about this movie that I saw, okay? And it's called Candyman. All right? Let me say it low for y'all. Candyman. Okay, let me say it again. Okay, let me say it again. How many times with that? If that was 4 times, I'm gonna leave it right there because some of y'all scary. Some of y'all scary as hell, okay? I just don't understand why. Listen, horror, the genre of horror is one of my favorite genres of movies to watch, okay? I just love it because they're not really scary, all right? You know, and I went back and watched a lot of movies from the 80s and early 90s or whatever. Girl, them shits ain't scary either. And if I did ever find them scary back when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, you only found this scary because you was a kid. That's it. Y'all told me, and I'll forever bring this up, y'all told me to go watch Tales from the Hood because I always told y'all, I only watch like bits and parts. And it just never stayed with me or whatever. I finally watched that thing and I was like, this what y'all scared of? Grow up. I said maybe if it was I watched it when I was a kid, maybe, but truth be told, no. Okay, no. I will tell you the only thing that truly scared me that I used to have nightmares about. I used to have nightmares about Freddy Krueger. Okay, only because his face used to just fuck with me a little bit when I was a kid. When I was a kid, that was the only one. That was the only one, or whatever. Because that man, it was like, oh my god, I'm dreaming about him. I'm finna die. You know, something like that. That's how it was. That's how it was. But no, anyway, we get into Candyman, and I really wanted to see this remake of the 1992 movie with Tony Todd and all of them people. But at the same time, you know, it's near and dear to my heart because it's from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's based in Chicago. You know, you got the Cabrini Green projects that used to be up when the first movie was made. Now they're no longer here, okay? And it was interesting because I wanted to see how they was going to do this, okay? Now that the projects, because it was like a remake. It was a 2020 year 2020 version of the 1992 remake. I mean, original. So I was like, given that this was set up in Cabrini Green on the near north side, how was this going to be now that the projects are actually torn down, you know? And that was one thing that truly piqued my interest, and because I still loved it, and the fact that it was a woman director who was doing this, Nia DaCosta, shout out to you, girl, and then it was Jordan Peele's production company that was doing it as well, you know, Monkey Paw. They did what they had to do. It was cute. I will say on the offset, it was cute, it was nice or whatever, but I expected a whole lot more. I don't know exactly what more it is. Maybe I felt like it could have had a little bit more. And this is spoilers. If you haven't seen it by now, this is spoilers. If you want to see it and not go to the movies, it is on demand. I have DirecTV and it's on demand. I got the movie or whatever. Rented it. So you can watch it there if you want to. But it's an hour and 30 minutes. Actually, it's a little bit less than an hour and 30 minutes, to be quite honest. Probably like an hour 25, 20, you know. But it was a decent movie. It's enough. It's one of those movies that it's not as good as the original, but it does have a new, fresh take on things, and it's good enough for me to watch a few times. Or if it was to come on TV, I will watch it every time it comes on TV. You know what I'm saying? And I will probably buy the DVD or something to add to the collection. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those type of situations. It wasn't the best, but it was good enough. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't scary to me at all. It was not scary to me at all. And I watched that thing last night with the lights out, okay? And I watched it this morning, well, this afternoon while I was at work. I watched it again, second time. But let's just get into it, you know what I'm saying? And I want to tell y'all this interesting fact that I found out. So, Cabrini Green in the 1992 version of Candyman, remember when Helen, the white girl, was going through the apartment and the in the projects? First of all, she was bold as shit to go through the projects. Okay, that's one thing. We never ventured over there. We never ventured over there. I never wanted to go to Cabrini Green. Never had any inclination. We just knew not to go over there. That shit was crazy. Okay, gangs and all of that stuff. Everybody knew that. All right. But when she was going through the what is it, the medicine cabinet to get to the other apartment, that was real. It was a situation that happened out here in Chicago. I read an article. They did the article in 1987. Okay, bitch, the year I was born. So that was 34 years ago. Bitch. Oh, I just told y'all my age. Y'all already know. Fuck that. But anyway, basically it was this woman named Ruthie McCoy, which is so funny how the main character who turns into Candyman in the show, in the movie, is called Anthony McCoy. Okay, his name is McCoy, but her name was Ruthie McCoy, and she had mental illness. All right, and so she used to call the cops and say that she heard people going through the walls. She heard voices in the wall, and they just chopped it up to her having a mental breakdown or something like that or whatever. But this one time, she actually came back from the hospital, mental hospital, part of the hospital, and she came back home and she was hearing stuff, and she called the cops, and they did come, but nobody answered the door. They left. They didn't bother to bust the door open. The neighbors was like, this is not like her. You know, they waited 2 days to actually come back and to open up that door, because they didn't want to get a lawsuit if they would have opened up the door and nothing was going on and nobody was really there. Okay. So, and also because she was black and they was in at this projects. Okay. They was at this really, really bad project. All right. They didn't care. They didn't care. So they waited 2 days to go back, and come to find out, she was killed in her apartment. She had got shot 4 times, okay? And it didn't look like a break-in. Why? Because they had made a little pipeline where they go through the medical. Somebody actually went through her medicine cabinet and killed her into her apartment. Baby, it was crazy. Just look up Ruthie McCoy, Chicago, okay? But that was a true thing. I said, wow, all right, cool. Not cool that she died, but cool that they included it. Meanwhile, we get into this new version of Candyman. It's set off in 1977. And in this version, I will say they're highlighting more of the racial distinction between classes, between generations and all of that. Tiny and some of the stuff that's going on now that we still see, especially when it comes to black men and the police, and how they treat them and how they try to cover up some stuff, you know. But it starts off in 1977, and we see this boy named William. They call him Billy, and the mom is telling him to go do the laundry. He has to go out his project. It's like row houses, okay, offset from the Cabrini Green's actual projects. There's some row houses, and he has to go out and go down around the corner, whatever, to go to the laundry room. That's for the whole settlement, you know, row house thing. And you got police officers, white police cops out there, you know, sitting out there looking for this guy named Sherman. And they showed the boy his picture, and the boy just kept on going, goes to the laundry room, and he hears something fall on the floor. It was a piece of candy. Now, Sherman was this guy that was helpless, okay? All he did was give candy to the kids in the neighborhood, and he did nothing else. And, you know, he did have a little hook on his hand because he didn't have a hand, period. He just had a prosthetic on his hand. There was a hole in the laundry room wall, and that Sherman guy came through. Okay, it scared the boy Billy, and he started screaming, which in turns basically has the cops running and just going throughout the whole thing, trying to find out where it's coming from, if he's there, whatever. And the reason why they looking for him is because they believe he's the one that's putting razor blades or something in the candy, and this little white girl got a hold of one. And so now they're looking for him, okay, thinking that he's the one that's doing this stuff, all right, because he's known to have candy or whatever. And so at this point, Sherman winds up giving Billy the candy, a handful of candy. Billy ass deliberately drops one of them on the floor, and the cops heard it drop in that basement of the laundry room, okay? And then they come running down there, winds up getting Sherman beat the freak to death, okay? Like his face was so, you couldn't tell who he was, you couldn't identify him. That's how bad they beat his face in and everything. Killed the man. And then a couple of weeks later, finds out he wasn't the one who did that situation. It was somebody else because it happened again, okay? And so this goes on to the whole history of how that black people with cops, okay, especially black men, like I said. But then we go to the future, or I should say the present, and we get to Anthony McCoy, who is this artist, all right, and I'm talking about paint to the canvas artist, okay, and he's trying to find his next inspiration. He hasn't been inspired, had a good piece in 2 years, okay? And he's living with his girlfriend. They got a place they just moved into. Her name is Brianna. And I feel like she's like an art curator, okay? She works at this gallery. You know, she has her boss or partner, whoever she's working with, comes over to try to look at his work. And he's telling him, you're not giving me what I asked for, okay? But you need to get inspired some type of way, okay? And so that's what they're working on. But prior to that, Brianna's brother came over with his new boo to meet her, okay, for the first time. And in the midst of them having this little get together, the brother said, I'm gonna tell y'all a scary story. So the scary story was supposed to be about Helen, the white girl, the grad school student from the first Candyman, and her whole situation of how she allegedly came into the projects and she was supposed to be looking up this whole urban legend about the Candyman, okay? And oh, excuse me. And, you know, for some reason, it was like she lost her mind. She killed a Rockweller and, you know, she stole a baby. She got arrested. She escaped the hospital. She stole a baby. She tried to sacrifice the baby, and then she just burnt herself to death in the bonfire. That's how they made it seem. When in reality, that's not really what happened, okay? If you saw the original movie, her body was taken over by Candyman, basically. You know, it was him doing all this stuff. And she did not take that baby to kill the baby. She actually saved the baby from the fire because Candyman wanted that baby, wanted her to be the victim, okay? Like a sacrificial lamb. And she said, no, you're not going to take him. I'm going to sacrifice myself for this baby, okay? And keep that in mind. So ever since, her name was Helen Lau, ever since the brother told them about this story, you got Anthony, he's so, you know, interested in it. It took him to the point that he's looking up stuff about her. He's just so fascinated with it and like hyper focused on it. And so he learns the story of Sherman from this guy at the Cabrini Green, where the old Cabrini Green used to be at, where those row houses were back in 1977. He was out there taking pictures, and he wound up getting stung by a bee, okay? And y'all know with Candyman, the bees come into play a lot, okay? That was his thing. And William winds up popping up on him. William is the little boy from 1977 that basically dry snitched accidentally on Sherman to get his ass killed, okay? And so at this point, he owns this laundromat and he's getting information. Anthony is getting information from William about Sherman and, you know, the way that they made him like the Candyman and how basically the Candyman were different people at one point, okay? And it's all this supernatural the Candyman, the original Candyman possessed this person, possessed this person, possessed this person. It was like each decade or each generation, it's been a new Candyman, okay? And so in this generation, it's going to be Anthony McCoy, all right? The original, of course, we know the story. You know, he was this black man back in the 1800s that did paintings, and he went around the world doing paintings, especially for white folks. And, you know, they love your work, but they don't love you because of the color of your skin. He made the mistake being in Chicago for this wealthy person, manufacturer, whatever. He fell in love with the daughter, the white daughter. And Of course, the father finds out. The mob attacks him, beats him up, cuts his hand off, put honey all over him, and basically dies by being attacked by the bees and stuff. So that's where the bees come in at. And he's noticing after all of this, he's having different moments where he's back at home and he's zoning out. He goes to the studio and he's doing this whole thing about, these different faces of these people that were possessed by Candyman, who they call Candyman. Okay. And if you notice, the spot where he was getting stung at, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and just looked like it was infected and disgusting and everything. And so, he had this one piece that he called Say My Name, okay? And it was hidden behind a regular little window, or I should say mirror, that looked like a medicine cabinet that would be in your bathroom. And I said, oh, a ode to that, okay? A ode to the first, and I just realized that, a ode to the original, because you got to open it up and it opens just like a medicine cabinet in your bathroom. And so when that happens, that original painting that he got inspiration for, is in there, but you got to say Candyman name 5 times, okay? And it does give you the history of it or whatever. And that's what he wanted to put on at this gallery that his woman works at, that we saw the white man that she works with. I forgot what his name is. His name is Gil or something like that. So they do that, and he's trying to explain it to one of the critics, and she's not really all that interested in it, okay? She's like, whatever. You're talking about, supremacy, and you're talking about, gentrification and whatever, and yet you're part of it. This is what artists do. They want to talk about the hood or whatever that they came from, and that they help gentrify, because look at who you are. You're helping gentrify this community too. And I'm just like, girl, what? You better take that tone back. I ain't like the way she was talking to him, okay? Like, okay, girl, this is boring. That's what she was like. So, he just wasn't taking the critique too well. The guy, he gets drunk. One of the guys tried to compliment him, and he snapped off on him, and then he snapped off on the owner, called him out about sleeping with his interns or whatever. And next thing you know, he goes home. He's not sleeping. He had told Brianna, his girl, about it. And they was like, let's go ahead and say Candyman 5 times. She was like, nah, boy, I ain't got time to be playing no mess like this. And he wound up doing it, but nothing happened. Okay? Nothing happened. And she was like, stop playing. But at this gallery, when it was over with, the owner, he's just going off about how, she should never brought him there, and, she's going to do herself in, keeping him on her coattails and all this stuff. And, the little intern that he was with, they're about to do it. And this girl, she want to look into the mirror, into the exhibit, and start saying Candyman. I said, girl, stop playing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And of course, she says it 5 times. I said, what type of turn on and kink is this? What type of kink is this? Okay, I said, that's what turned you on? Baby, after she said that 5th one, he couldn't even get his dick out before her throat got slit. Okay, and he was like, wait a minute. Because he didn't see it, okay? But we, the viewer, can see what's going on, because you see Candyman appear in the mirror. They can't see him, but you see him appear in the mirror, okay? And then, of course, her throat gets slashed. And he like, wait a minute, hold on. Is this for real? That's literally what he said. Is this for real? And he dropped her ass, and she just bleeding out. And he running, trying to get out, but he forgot that he locked the door. He can't get out. And so at this point, the spirit, he can't see what's doing it, but we can see. It's all supernatural. Baby, this is the most cringiest part of the whole movie for me, when his Achilles tendon got sliced. I said, oh my God. Every time I see that on anything, have you ever saw the movie Hostel? Was it either Hostel 1 or Hostel 2? I'd never seen the whole movie, because that torture shit, I can't deal with it. That's one movie series I cannot deal with. I can watch Saw, but I cannot watch Hostel, okay? When he was sitting down up in that chair and they put that thing up his Achilles and they oh my God, oh my God. Oh, no, okay? So when I saw that, I said, oh my goodness. And then dragged him bad and proceeded to kill him, okay? And so, of course, Brianna was the one that came into work the next morning and found it. And, of course, somehow, some way, they say Anthony's name and the name of his exhibit and connection to what happened. That's where they saw it. This is where the exhibit say my name is at. And so this is on the news, and he's so excited that his name is being mentioned. And I'm like, oh no, it's getting out there, okay? It's getting out there. They looking, Brianna and her brother looking at him like, you a little cray cray. Meanwhile, Brianna having dreams about her father who committed suicide, who was trigger warning, sorry, who was an artist himself, and things were just going, getting weirder and weirder. At that art gallery, you had this girl who was there, teenage girl. She was looking at the exhibit to herself, and so she was like, whatever, she's born a typical teenager. We see her, this is the next kill. Was this the next kill? Either way, she was one of the kills too, because later on in the movie we see her okay, we see her in the bathroom with her group of friends. Okay, it was 5 of them, right? It was 5 of them, 5 white girls, okay? No, it was 4 white girls and an Asian girl, okay? And so she was like, have you ever heard of Candyman? And so at this point, they was like, girl, what? You supposed to say Candyman 5 times in the mirror, okay? Let's do it. And they was like, oh my God, I don't really want to, but okay. And they start saying it. They say it 1 time, they say it 2 times. And when they said that bitch almost 3 times, the window popped open. The Asian girl said, not today. Literally, she said, not today. And she walked up out that bathroom. I said, you the smartest bitch up in there, bitch. Okay, you the smartest one. Because they continued and said it 5 times. Mind you, this black girl came in when they was about to leave, and they was making fun of her. She puts her music on. She's in the bathroom being a little loner that she is. And girl, she started hearing all the stuff that was going on because they couldn't get out the bathroom. And of course, they got it from Candyman, okay? I said, wow. Meanwhile, because he's gaining popularity, because his name is out there from this news and from the fact that, the art gallery had it and the art director, he's dead now, and they put his name out there, that art critic is now coming back and wanted to talk to him, Anthony, again. And come to find out, she all of a sudden likes it, okay? And we get this education on what he's trying to do. His work is about white supremacy and, about how they give something and then they want to take it back and then they want to give again. It's like this loop that we're on, okay? And they said this later on in the movie. It's a loop that goes on and on. You do something, we come in, and then you want to come in and take it back. That's what gentrification is, okay? Gentrification is just like that in a lot of these neighborhoods, especially out here. And I'm going to tell you something. Where I work at, that area a few years ago, it was nothing to go to, okay? It was the most trashiest, the most despicable place, I guess you could say. Now it's one of the most expensive places to be at, where all the white people are at, where all the people with money are at. You know what I'm saying? It's like the highest and most expensive place in Chicago, in that area, okay? And so I was just like, wow, that statement, you come back to take back what you gave us, okay? And we're on a loop. We're on a loop. That's what William wound up saying at the end, all right? But back to Anthony being at this critic's house, and he was like, since you want to live it or whatever, she was like, oh, you talking about the teller being in the hood and everything because that's where you from. Now, allegedly, he was supposed to be born in Bronzeville on the south side, okay? And I was so mad when the art director that got killed in the art place gonna say something, oh, the south side is so played. Nigga, fuck you, okay? South side ain't played. But anyway, he was like, if you want to feel the full experience, why don't you go ahead and say the Candyman 5 times? And she was like, listen, I got to go to the bathroom. Mind you, she go to the bathroom, and I said, miss, I know you not finna do what I think your dumb ass finna do. And of course she did. And how we find this out? Because this motherfucker is hallucinating. He's seeing stuff, you know what I'm saying? He's seeing himself as Sherman. as the Candyman when Sherman was the Candyman with the hook in his hand, because that thing on his hand, it's just getting bigger. It's getting worse. It's disgusting at this point. It's oozing. It's infected. He was playing with that bitch. He was trying to pull it. I said, nigga, go to the hospital and get that shit. You need some antibiotics. Ain't your system messed up? Get it before it get into your bloodstream. Okay? Like you're about to start rotting. They literally had Mr. Manhattan from Watchmen in his fine glory. He went from being blue to playing a rotten ass motherfucker, literally. I said, what the hell? That's some acting for your ass. That's versatility, bitch. But anyway, so he was looking for her, but then he see all this stuff, him transforming into, girl, is it a fly up in here? Candyman. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Stop it. Bitch, I know y'all saw that flat, right? It wasn't just me, right? How many times I said that man's name throughout this thing? But anyway, moving on from that, girl, the woman came out the bathroom, was like, what you doing? He was like, listen, girl, I gotta go. Okay, I'm just go. He out to dinner with his friends or with his wife's friends, and he picking with that shit in the look. And one of the girls was like, hey, you gonna have to stop that. And he covered it up or whatever. I mean, it just looked nasty. Next thing you know, one of them get the alert that the Miss Lady died. Okay, and then what we did, if you notice, when he left the apartment, the way the camera panned out from the outside of the apartment, that drone that they filmed it from, and we could see inside everybody's apartment. We see her standing there. Next thing you know, she walks over a little bit, and then she gets picked up like this, and then she gets thrown against the window. Okay, I said, but you don't see nobody in there. But you know, at that moment, she did say Candyman 5 times in the mirror. Okay, moving on from that, he leaves. All right. He runs out. Girl, where did he go? He runs out, and they was trying to find him. He goes to the studio, whatever. I think Brianna went to go see what was going on with him. Goes to the studio, sees all of the pictures that he painted of the different Candyman faces, and he was trying to tell her what it is or whatever, and of course she's not believing him. And then she was like, this is not real, okay? And he's like, it is, and I'm pretty sure that he's possessed me. I think I brought him back, okay? For whatever reason, I brought him back. He even had to go talk to William and see what was going on, okay? And that's when he give him the history of Candyman that I gave y'all earlier. And so at this point, Brianna was like, let me show you, I'll say it. And then she was about to say it in the mirror, and he started breaking every mirror and just was like, no. And this scares her, okay? He wasn't attacking her or coming at her. He was trying to save her, okay? Don't do that. And she took that as, oh my God, you never did this in front of me. I'm scared. Let me get away from you. Don't you come home, okay? Don't you come home. She runs and she goes to her brother. And of course, her brother took this as an opportunity to talk shit, because basically, he living off of your ass anyway. He ain't no good. And then at this point, he's just becoming like, his body is just rotting away, literally. That arm that got bit, it's just rotting the freak away. And so he had to go to the hospital. He's rotting on his face on that same side. He goes to the hospital, and the lady is like, the nurse come in and was like, oh, good to see you back. And he was like, I never been here. Oh no, they said that you was born here. This is what your chart said. And he was like, wait a minute. No, I wasn't born here. I was born on the south side. No, you were born here. And here is Cabrini Green. Okay. You were born in Cabrini Green. All right. And at this moment, I'm putting 2 and 2 together, because I remember looking at the preview and I was like, Miss Mama's that was in the first Candyman is not there yet. And I remember when she said, shh, don't say that. Don't say that. Okay, I said, where's Vanessa Williams at? Where Mama's at? At the beginning of the movie, when he got so inspired and he started doing one of his paintings at the house, he was supposed to go meet up with Brianna and his mother. Okay, but he didn't because he lost track of time. So he leaves and he finds out that he was really born in Cabrini Green, okay, in that area, and not on the south side. he proceeds to go to this woman's house. And that's when we see Vanessa Williams, who was in the first movie, who was the mother of the baby that old girl saved from the bonfire. And basically, that is his mother. He was that baby. I said, bitch. Now I kind of figured, at that point, I figured it out. Basically, as she was saying, the reason why I didn't tell you because we wasn't supposed to speak his name, okay? They tried to make it seem like that white girl just went crazy, and that's not what it is. She saved you, and because of that, we said we wasn't going to bring this stuff up or whatever. We was going to seal it off, and basically, Candyman wanted him as a victim, basically to take over, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That was his prize or whatever. And so the whole thing, they made a pact not to say his name, not to bring the whole situation up anymore. Somebody broke that pact, okay? And that is why he is back. And he is back for him, okay? And I said, oh, shit, bitch. Now we getting good. Mind you, the show really about to go off at this point. I said, bitch, I really wanted to see some more kills. We only truly got 3 scenes where we got the art gallery person and his girl that got killed. Then we got the critic that got killed. And then we got those 4 teenagers that got killed or whatever. So at this point, because them little 4 girls got messed up, they saying, they putting it together and thinking that it has something to do with this say my name exhibit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like too eerie. You know what I'm saying? Too much alike or whatever. And I'm like, how did y'all connect that? I just want to know. But at this point, he leaves out and we don't see where he goes. But we see Brianna trying to find him. Okay, her and her brother, they go over to the house and he's not there. She's calling around, seeing if people seen him. He's not there. And then she sees William's name. Okay, William. From the very beginning, the guy from the laundromat. She goes there. The laundromat is empty besides one lady who eventually comes in later, okay? Speaking of laundromat, I gotta go put my clothes in the dryer. She goes into his office and the door closes behind her. Now, see, that's where you messed up at. See, listen, if nobody is in there and it's a glass door and you can see nobody's in there, that was your cue to walk the fuck back out, not to go back in, not to go in, okay? We black, we don't do shit like that. But one of the blackest thing that I seen up in this whole episode, this whole movie, I should say, when she opened up that door and she saw it was something down there in the basement, she said, nah, I ain't even finna go down there. I said, I know that's the fuck right. Close that shit and get the hell up out of there, okay? She tried to get out the door, but it was locked. I said, who locked the door? Who locked the door? And it looked like they locked it from the outside. Next thing you know, we see that if somebody in there doing their laundry, they can't hear because they got their headphones on, and she's banging on the door trying to get her attention to open it up. And William comes behind her and takes her out. At least, yeah, takes her out. And then he says, oh, now we got a witness. And I said, a witness? What the hell are you talking about, sir? Then it goes back to 1977 to a scene where he was in his house or whatever, or a friend's house, and probably his little sister or somebody or whoever. I don't know who the little girl was. He was trying to play with her, okay? She said, no, this is some grown-up kid stuff, whatever. You a baby and all this stuff, and just go away. Next thing you know, the game that they're playing is seeing Candyman in the mirror. She must have said it 5 times and all of a sudden you heard a thump, okay? Her body fell to the floor. He opens up the door and he sees her body on the floor, blood splattered everywhere, and he sees the Sherman guy, who is now the new Candyman or whatever, and he see the piece of candy on the floor and basically said, shh, okay? Like, this is our secret now. And it's like at that moment, he became cool and like the one that's going to carry on the legacy of Candyman when need to. So he was the one that was responsible for breaking the pact and bringing him back, okay? And that's why he was coming after Anthony, because Anthony was the baby that he originally was trying to get, okay, in the first movie. And so at this point, you know, they go to the old church and he got Brianna tied up. Girl, at this point, my baby is sitting there just possessed. He's sitting with his face to the wall like this. I said, nigga, turn around. He ain't tied up or nothing. I said, what is going on with him? I said, throw something at him, snap. Your boo right there, baby. Your boo right there. Get up. He was like, "No, I'm good." I said, "Really?" And then William talking all this shit about how, they need to, cause of the way things were going, and this gentrification, and how the white people are doing this and coming in and want to take stuff back after they left it, and they the one. And I like one of this thing when Anthony told that critic, white folks are the one that made the hood. They the one that did all of this. Okay? These developers and stuff. Y'all the one that made this, and then once we came in, y'all didn't want to take up for it no more. Y'all didn't want to take care of it no more because we came in and stuff like that. I said, yeah, that's right. Most of these projects around here, they started off with white people in there. But then when black people started coming into the neighborhood, it was white flight. And that's how it became, bitch, it is a fly up in here. I ain't crazy, okay? It started, being deteriorated because they didn't care about it, because it's black people. That's how it started, you know what I'm saying? That's how the hood got the bad rep. Because the neighborhood that I am in, it was predominantly white before it became black and Mexican, or black and Latina. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all there's still little scatters of white people that's around here too. Little, very little. But they call them the ghetto white people. The poor white people. But anyway, moving on from that. So he's going on this whole tirade, and he fake calls in saying that the Candyman killer or the Say My Name killer, he's over here, and he had his voice changed to whatever, sounded like a white person, or what a white person would perceive to sound like, whatever. And he was just like, oh my God, he's doing something. He's a black man. Come on and get him. Baby, at this point, he got, I don't care how long this video is, it's a whole 2-hour movie. He got old boy come over here and sit down, and he facing Brianna, and when I tell you, he looks so bad, and I was like, his eye is just gone. I said it looked like he got cataracts and glaucoma up in his eye or whatever. And I said, oh, you need to smoke a joint or something to get that fixed. And then I said, you need a dermatologist, okay? Let me get you some sunscreen or whatever. It was just bad. He took his hand and he cut his hand off, and at that moment, you can tell he's not in control of his body, but he could still feel, because when he was cutting his hand off, his body tensed up so bad, and you could see it in his face. And then when he took that hook and he stuck it in there, that tear that came out I was like, oh my goodness. Can you imagine being immobilized and still feeling the pain, and you can't do nothing? You can't even move? Oh no, okay? And so at this point, Brianna then broke free. Okay, so William, he got to go run after her, and then he trying to attack her, and she gets away, but then she goes into this one abandoned apartment, and he comes after her. She tried to lift up this thing to knock him out, but it was too heavy, but she had like this knife or something that she started stabbing him with, and I think it was probably a pin or whatever, or something, and kills him. And then here comes Anthony, was like, I think he's dead. I said, oh, so now you get up. Now you get up. And I was like, girl, you might as well try to kill his ass too, because I don't know what he gonna do. But he said, no, it ain't all that, okay? And he collapsed on the floor. I was like, oh my God. Don't die. At this point, I'm rooting for Candyman. Okay, I'm rooting for him. I said, you the new one in charge, bitch. Get up. Get up, Anthony. And then you hear the police coming, because remember, William had called it in and said that it was a black man here. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's killing somebody and all this stuff. And the main people that's been getting killed are white people. You notice that, right? Okay. And so, of course, they're on the alert. That's why they're here for it. Okay. They're trying to do a whole bunch about it. And make it a priority because of the color of the people that are getting killed at this point. And it goes back to that story that I told you about, the Ruthie McCoy. They said a similar situation happened where a white lady had got hurt in the building or whatever, and it was made big news, and everybody was talking all about it for weeks or whatever, but nobody said anything about Ruthie because she was black and she was mentally ill and in the projects. That's what it was, okay? But see, we see what it is. Meanwhile, the cops come up in there. She is holding him. He is practically dying in her arms. And they said, stop. And I don't even know what it is. They didn't even say, hold on or whatever. They said, put your hands up, pop, pop, pop. 4 bullets in this man. Shot him up while he was just laying there incapacitated already. I said, wait a minute, they shoot Brianna? Didn't shoot her, but gonna put her in handcuffs and put her in the back of the car, right? And then the cop gonna come up in there and basically say, you got one or two things that you could do. You can either tell the truth and go to jail, get buried and go to jail, that you that we came up in there and did what we did, or you can lie and say that, you know, he came at us and we had to take him down. That's what it is. And she was like, oh, so that's what we gonna do? That's what we doing? We finna make up lies and cover up and all this stuff? Oh, okay. So what I need you to do is, let me say one thing. Turn that mirror to me. I want to see myself in the mirror, in the rearview mirror. Okay, turn it to me. He was like, girl, what? Just do it. If you want me to do, I'll do whatever it is that you say. Just do that for me, okay? Bitch, he did it. And she was like, she said Candyman 4 times, okay? And on that fourth time, he was like, the third time, he was like, what? And then she said it for the fourth time. And then he was like, Candyman? And that was the fifth time, okay? And at that moment, all you hearing is, you know, people getting gutted or whatever and killed or whatever inside the freaking row house where they was at, the apartment that they was at. Basically, she done resurrected our boy, okay? He done took them people out, and old boy tried to get up out the car, but the car was locked, okay? It's like he was protecting Brianna, but then he unlocked it because he did come to the window, and then it started, if you ever looked at the first movie, the quote that he was saying, he started talking and saying that same thing, okay? That same little monologue speech, all right? And so the car unlocks, a boy gets out, and he goes trying to find him or whatever. And so Brianna gets out and go around and sees that he got all these bees on his face or whatever, and the cop is just getting done, okay? You know what I'm saying? He took him out. And so Brianna is looking at him, and instead of it being Anthony's face, it's Tony Todd's face. I said, yes. I was like, wait a minute. Now, is this the real Tony Todd, or is this a computer-generated version of him? Because it did look a little young, okay? Because I remember the last time I seen him in Final Destination, he ain't looked that young like that. I said, that's a fresh face, Tony Todd. All right. I said, oh my God, the original Candyman is here. The original Candyman is here. And then he said, tell everyone. I said, bitch, give me part two. Give me part two, because I need a little bit more guts and I need a little bit more gory, okay? It was cute. It was cute or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll be your victim. You know what I'm saying? I'll be your victim. But it was cute. I like the little history moment that I got out of it. But yeah, I would like the little bit more, like a little bit more action to it, you know. And I know it wasn't an action film or whatever. It was very nice to see Vanessa Williams. It was very nice to see Tony Todd, if that was really him. I don't care. It was his voice though. I love his voice. That bitch is scary, okay? That's probably why y'all was scared of Candyman. It was because of his voice, okay? Because his voice is just very distinct. Even in Final Destination, when he was playing Death. Nigga, you can't play a good role, like a positive role to play your life. But anyway, it was cool. It was decent. You guys tell me how you felt about the movie if you saw it. I enjoyed it for the most part. I can watch it a few times or whatever, like I said. But I did want a little more. You know, I was expecting a little more. But I'm not going to say it was a bad movie. It was cute for a remake, okay? But, y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. And I will see you guys later. Oh my God, I got to do Love, Marriage, Huntsville tonight. I do. Okay, cool. Peace.